Coral. They are most common in shallow reef environments with bright light and moderate to high water motion. Most Acropora species are brown or green, but a few are brightly colored. Acropora is a genus of small polyp stony coral in the phylum Cnidaria. Polyps typically extend further at night to help capture plankton and organic matter from the water. Mass spawning, these occur once a year around 3 nights in early summer when the moon is nearly full. Mass quantities of eggs and sperm are released simultaneously from the huge numbers of coral colonies. The polyps can withdraw back into the coral in response to a movement or disturbance by potential predators. But when undisturbed, they protrude slightly, and the main carbon of these corals are fulfilled by symbiosis with unicellular algae. Dinoflagellates line their photosynthetic product to coral. However, hermatypic corals are able to capture and ingest particulate food from varied sources, including plankton and bacteria. Studies suggest that the proportion of leaf coral cover affects species diversity and fish abundance in a positive way. Furthermore, it showed that the coral feeders actually use the branching corals for protection. They're providing us for a beautiful reef to enjoy and also increases the diversity of fish which used both amusement and enterprise. Of course, as mentioned, they provide a house and protection to marine organisms, especially a reef fish. They hide under or in a hole of this coral. Also, they are the breeding ground for several fish and other marine organisms. Not only that, in Great Barrier Reef in Australia, they actually as a wall.
Where do they typically live in the global ocean for Acropora coral?
Acropora is the most dominant corals. So with temperature within the range of about 18 to 30, now 31 degrees Celsius, salinity very consistent, enough sunlight. Usually that's where all the corals, there is all the Acropora would be. So there are a lot of places with different sites. Really depends. They are near the equator zone, but then there are sites which Acropora doesn't like in high turbidity area where you can see very low Acropora density, like Odysseus, Pulau Paya. So they are very common, but then there are certain places that they would have more abundant.
Okay. Next is main taxonomy for this classification of Acropora.
The main taxonomy of Acropora would be in the Cnidaria group, same as jellyfish.
Same as jellyfish?
Yeah, they're in the same common group.
Okay, itu je lah.
Dah 2-3 soalan pun.
How about size, colour and unique features?
Acropora is a genus, so under a genus there will be a lot of different life forms. So I would basically tell you the normal morphology of corals would be they are hard, and then the most dominant would be branching corals. So Acropora is the dominant because branching coral Acropora is the most dominant. But apart from branching, Acropora also have digitate or tabulate types. So there are a lot of morphology for corals Acropora.
Kalau feeding habit macam mana tu?
There are corals that don't move, so they have to rely on the drift planktons and all the small invertebrates for the corals to catch. And then of course they have zooxanthellae live in it together with the corals. So the animals and the plants live together in the corals, provide food, provide shelter. So it's a complex symbiosis win-win situation for both organisms.
What are their mating habits?
They release sperms and eggs.
Release?
Sperms and eggs by different organisms at the same time.
How to define their sex?
They have Either they produce eggs or they produce sperms.
Oh.
Okay, lastly, last for our question is are they in danger of being endangered?
They are endangered. Most of the corals, Acropora, they are under the vulnerable category or endangered category. They are endangered because of right now we have a lot of decline of coral reef health. A lot of corals are dying, and then after that a lot of tradings for corals. So they are under the red list. IUCN is vulnerable and endangered. But then it really depends on the regulation. For example, CITES is a permit for if, because all animals, even though they're endangered, there would be permits for them to be transported one place to the other. So there are regulations how to help these kind of organisms to not to be extinct.
Is it they endangered in certain species or each type?
There are certain species which are more critically endangered than some other species. But it really depends on the data that we have in IUCN, because some species are well described in certain location but not others. So it really depends on the locality of the species itself.
I think that's all. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.